Please welcome Atlassian Head of Product Marketing, Transformations and Platform, Disha Rustogi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Data Center and Cloud Transformation session, whether you're here physically or you're watching digitally. Very excited to have you all here. Now, before I start talking about what we're covering in this session, I'd like to cover a little bit about me. For the last 15 years, I've been at large tech companies like Microsoft, Adobe, and now Atlassian, helping enterprise customers make the move to the cloud. By now, you would think I'd know everything to know about this space. But actually, I still learn a lot every single day talking to our customers. And that's because enterprise needs are evolving for customers just as the world is changing. Whether it be macroeconomic pressures, or distributed teams, or the changing security landscape, or the opportunity offered by AI, our customers are constantly evolving their needs. And at Atlassian, we're working really hard to make sure that we help you meet those challenges. With Data Center, we've been learning from you for a very, very long time. And now, we're trying to bring all that learning into the cloud for all our customers. All right, let's jump into it. Here's a map of this session. We're covering 4 things. I'll take you through the value of the Atlassian Cloud Platform. You saw some of it in the keynote this morning, but we'll expand a little on it. Gosia, Kowalska, our data center leader, will take you through the enterprise foundation of data center. Then we'll talk about the enterprise foundations of the cloud with Wang, and she'll also take you through the journey to the cloud, how you should think about the move. Talking about journeys, many of you have been with us for a very long time. Show of hands, how many of you have been customers of Atlassian for 5 years or more? Wow, that's a big number. Keep your hands up, keep your hands up. All right. How many of you have been customers of Atlassian for 10 years or more? That is an amazing number of you. Well, almost 2/3 of our enterprise customers have been with us in this journey for the last 10+ years. Thank you for giving us a chance to serve you and your enterprise needs. Now, if you think about this journey, Data Center was an early inflection point. 2015 is when we introduced Data Center, and we built enterprise requirements into the Data Center. The next inflection point came in 2020, when we doubled down on the cloud. Across both offerings, we've been working hard, like I said, to serve your needs and build more of what you need as foundational bits of the enterprise requirements. As a result of these investments that we've made, a lot of you, 3/4 of you, have some footprint in the cloud already. When I say some footprint, you all understand that doesn't mean all teams at all of these companies and all sites at all these companies are in the cloud. But everyone in these companies is exploring how to move to the cloud. There's either a small team or a set of sites that have already moved to the cloud, and they're trying to figure out how to move there wholesale. For any of data center customers in the room today who haven't taken the first step, please come and try to explore our cloud offering. It's come a long, long way in the last year or so. So why move to the cloud? Whether it's all teams, product development teams, IT ops and support, or leadership teams, our products offer a multitude of ways for teams to get better. Tomorrow, there's going to be another set of super sessions which will be covering these areas, but today we'll go into the Atlassian Cloud Platform. I'll spend time on the experiences layer, and in the later part of the conversation, we'll spend some time on the enterprise infrastructure layer. What about the teamwork graph, right? The layer in the middle? Well, again, the System of Work session today covered that in great detail. You haven't seen it, just watch it. It'll be available digitally very soon. The experience layer of the platform has a lot of key experiences that modern teams need for highly productive teamwork. Whether it's intelligence, collaboration, automation, analytics, or extensibility, some of you believe that this is something that should just be made available, and that's exactly what the Atlassian Cloud Platform does. We're rapidly building these experiences up, and if you just look at last year's innovation, you can see that we're doing a lot. Now, the way I'd like to take you through this is through a fictitious example. Vitafleet is a healthcare logistics company, and they're using data center today. They're exploring moving to the cloud. They want to understand the value they can get from the Atlassian Cloud Platform, and their execs are trying to figure out what that looks like. Let's start with a look at what Atlassian Intelligence can do for them. AI-powered work breakdowns in Jira help developers plan their work much faster. Atlassian Intelligence pulls the context from the teamwork graph and tickets to suggest child issues. The work gets broken down, and users get to review these suggestions, adjust them if needed, and then accept these breakdowns. This will save Vitafleet developers a lot of time. They're quite excited about it. That was Jira. Let's look at Confluence. For all teams working in Confluence, AI-generated page catch-ups give users a summary of the latest changes, action items, relevant comments that they can use to get up to speed quickly. So if you're working on that strategy report with a lot of your colleagues from different departments, guess what? You can see exactly who worked on things, what happened, and get to your part really, really quickly. This happens to all of us, and we hope that AI will make this much faster for you. Now, what about JSM? You've seen Jira, you've seen Confluence. Let's look at what we can do for our service management agents. Agents can respond to tickets much faster because not only do they get suggestions on how to resolve them, they also get to know the experts who will actually be able to help them if they can't resolve those tickets on their own, speeding up their workflow as well. As you can see, Atlassian Intelligence is across our whole portfolio. This stat is just from Confluence users, but Confluence users believe that within a week, they can save 45 minutes on average in terms of productivity thanks to Atlassian Intelligence. And this is not with every one of these features built in. This is with the features that we released in last year. If you take that, multiply that across your organization to every single user, imagine what kind of time savings that means. Vitafleet execs are clearly quite happy with what Atlassian Intelligence can do for them. Let's now talk about collaboration. The average worker works through a lot of different apps to get their work done. A lot of different apps means a lot of context switching. Not only does it mean a lot of context switching, it means a lot of searching for work, wasting time, and not really doing things that require their focus and attention. We've been trying to solve this problem for a very long time, and smart links have been part of the Atlassian platform for a number of years now. What is really heartening to see is that in the last year alone, Atlassian Cloud users added 430 million smart links. That's right, 430 million smart links, or 430 million opportunities to stay in the flow and not have to jump out to a different tool so that work could be done with focus and context. What's even more impressive is this number. Half of the time spent on context switching reduced for migrators to the cloud. This is another number that tells you why smart links and Atlassian Cloud Platform are really the way to go for your end users. Now, in addition to smart links, we've also added an AI-generated summary of links from a smart link into a page. So when you go to that one page, which has a lot of different links, URLs, places, context to go into, you can prevent your users from going down rabbit holes that they don't know how to come out of and get back to their document. All they need to do is hover over a smart link, and they will get a summary of whatever the content of that link is. That way, they can stay on the page, stay in focus, and get the work done. We've talked about collaboration and intelligence Automation is clearly one of the areas of great promise when it comes to productivity and increasing the time spent on focused tasks versus sort of repetitive tasks. This is a worldwide stat. There's a lot of money to be saved, a lot of time to be saved in automating tasks. And we're focused on two key areas when it comes to automation improvements. The first one, we want to make automations more accessible to all users. And the second is we want to make sure admins have the control they need to manage automations, to have visibility and control over who's automating what and who are these automations reaching out to. Now, Wide-of-Read admins don't have to be automation experts. They can use natural language to build automation rules in Confluence. This has just come to JSM and Jira as well. Something that's coming up in Confluence is the fact that end users will be able to add pre-configured automation buttons to pages. What's happening here is really interesting. A campaign just got launched, or a campaign just got approved, and as soon as the campaign was approved, the marketing program manager clicked that button, and they were able to generate pages for all the different work streams, whether it is the web, or it is the campaign launch, or sort of legal approvals. All of those pages were automatically generated, the right users were added, and this work can just get started without adding a lot more human intervention in the loop. Remember, all these pre-configured buttons are configured by admins and fully approved and visible to them. Admins, I talked about admins and visibility a lot. This is basically the audit log filtering and search dashboard, which admins will have access to. We've also built some component controls that allow admins to control the lists of users, domains, and URLs that automations can reach out to. So everything is within their control. You saw this in the keynote this morning. It bears repeating. Atlassian Cloud customers are running more than 1 billion automation rules per month. This is 2/3 of our cloud customers. So if you are a cloud customer and you're not using automation, this might be the time to investigate why and invest in automation. Finally, let's look at analytics. I think we're all struggling with the data explosion. The promise of big data is there, but it's very hard to capture what we can get. As with all these trends, we're investing in making sure that you can get insights from your data. Another stat that shows that even as large as this problem is today, we know that it's going to be larger in the future by a lot. So how do we start to build the right dashboards, approaches, ways to solve this? A lot of you have already adopted Atlassian Analytics in the 1 year since GA, and a lot more should start investing in it. For wider fleet, they can benefit in many ways. Now, this is the core of our Atlassian Analytics. The data lake is where all the pre-model data sits. Analytics is the platform that allows you to visualize this data in charts and dashboards. Wider Fleet is really interested in adding groups and teams data into the data lake and seeing what insights they can get from that. They're also very happy that they can bring their GitLab and GitHub data, as well as their feature flagging platform, LaunchDarkly data, directly into our data lake and see how things are going. They use Databricks for some of their data, and they want to bring that data and blend it in with Atlassian Analytics. They can do that. And guess what? They use Tableau as their reporting software, just like many of you, or Power BI. But they can take that data from the data lake and bring it into those platforms to make sure that reporting is consistent, available in one place for their enterprise. They're also benefiting from a growing number of out-of-the-box dashboards that we're providing. There are dozens of these now. We just added another 20 right now. And we're looking at adding new chart templates as well. But again, sometimes we don't even know what chart we're searching for. Today, we know that 2 out of 3 charts are created out of a chart template. And so if you kind of know what you're looking for, our semantic index within the teamwork graph allows you to find the right chart. So you don't have to know the name of the chart. You can just find the chart using AI. Now, what if you're not an expert at interpreting data? How do you learn more about what the data is saying? Well, we want to help here as well. AI-powered chart insights on dashboards show that the data is trending up or down. It tells you what to investigate as a next step, and really make sure that you look at your data critically and understand pieces of it. This is all very valuable for Vitafleet. Our existing cloud customers are using analytics in a variety of ways, some that we expected and some that were unexpected. If you look at this is Dropbox telling us about the fact that they're using analytics to understand content use and value within Confluence. Who would have thought? But isn't it great to know what's most popular, what's most valuable content? Think about the applications to support content or to company town halls. There's a massive amount of value in using analytics and understanding the different use cases that apply to your organizations. Vitafleet is really excited by all this. And finally, like most enterprise organizations, and we looked at some stats before, Vitafleet relies on a number of different tools. It's a key requirement for them to be able to seamlessly connect across these tools, and they know that the Atlassian Cloud is inherently extensible, thanks to our open DevOps toolchain philosophy. Again, with integration recommendations here, admins at Vitafleet can get recommendations on which SaaS apps to integrate based on their team's usage. They need to integrate and authenticate these apps once, and then the apps are available across their Atlassian products for users to use with ease. With all this exploration that Vitafleet has done, they're convinced that they will get enormous amount of benefit from the Atlassian Cloud. But they want to hear if other customers feel the same way. Every one of us needs a little bit of validation, right? Let's hear from Oksana at United, who moved to the cloud recently to take advantage of all the benefits.
At United, we actually have a big goal. And so that positions us on this trajectory of this unprecedented growth. If we're growing so fast, right, how do we do it in a smart way? We're really focusing on time to market. We compared 3 different tools. Everything that we wanted to get out of the tool, Atlassian tools would deliver to us. For the teams who have migrated out of the data center or on-prem into the cloud, they're starting to see that benefit of, I have free time now. They can actually use that time to work on the things that are meaningful to our customers at the end of the day. I'm actually really happy that Jira and Confluence work in tandem. To me, what makes them so powerful is that they work together. I'm actually super excited that Atlassian just rolled out these new security features, right? New compliance certifications. That's really helpful to me as an enterprise customer representing United, because some of those regulations and compliances are going to come into play when we talk about data management and data security overall.
I hope you can see that transitioning to the Atlassian Cloud brings benefits across the board in the organization. If you're on the business side and looking for the ROI justification, that's right here. It's not a small number. If you're an admin and looking for control and visibility, we provide that. And then if you're an end user looking for increased productivity for yourself and ease of use, you can see that as well. The Atlassian Cloud is doing its best to be ready for all your organizations. We just want you all to give us a chance. I do know that a lot of you are still not ready to step into the cloud fully. And that is fine. We want to make sure that your enterprise needs are met in the data center as well, and that's a good option. Gosia Kowalska will now come on stage to talk about the investments we're making in data center.
Thank you. Thank you, Disha. Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? My name is Gosia Kowalska. I'm head of product for data center. It's amazing to hear about all the investments in Atlassian cloud platform and products. But as Disha mentioned, we've been on a journey, on the enterprise journey for quite a while, as it started in 2015 when we first shipped our data center products. This was a major milestone, and frankly, a big wake-up call to all of us to understand what it takes to build products that enterprise customers love. How many of you still remember these early days of data center? Show of hands. 2015, I can see a few hands up. I'm sure there are more hands up from our digital audience. I certainly do. These were my very first years at Atlassian. Even in those early years, we've been spending a lot of time with our enterprise customers, learning about their unique needs, and making sure that we address them. And it's great to see that so many of you who've been with us then are with us today. It very quickly became clear that our largest customers needed greater scalability and reliability. They needed to support growing user bases and growing amounts of data. And when we dug further, it was evident that security, compliance, and admin control are next on the list. Since 2015, we've been investing in these 4 key areas. For those of you who've been with us on this journey, let's take a trip down memory lane. Jira Software 8.0 shipped in 2019. This was a major milestone in improving Jira's performance with large backlogs and boards loading 3 times faster. In 2020, we've shipped advanced auditing, giving you more visibility and access to the right information so that you could improve security and demonstrate compliance. Early on, we've realized that accessibility is top of mind for our customers. And in 2018, we've shipped our first voluntary product accessibility templates documents, and we've been shipping VPATs annually ever since. Over the years, we've empowered admins with monitoring and diagnostic tooling, data management capabilities, and I still remember our early conversations about archiving issues and projects in Jira, and it's hard to believe it was back in 2019. Fast forward today, almost 10 years after we've introduced Jira Data Center and Confluence Data Center, our portfolio of data center products is mature and enterprise ready. Huge thank you to everyone who's been with us on this journey. Scale and reliability were the first problems we've addressed with data center products. And we continue to make sure that our products scale and help you and your teams and your businesses grow. Today, some of our largest customers have instances with millions of Jira issues and Confluence pages. And I'm sure many of you have the same amounts of data in your instances. Like Infobip, because of the scale we can support in data center, it's a no-brainer for them. Did we foresee this scale in 2015? Well, we did not. And this is why we are giving you tools to help monitor your scale and ensure that you grow reliably. In product diagnostics, give you self-diagnostic capabilities on performance. And guardrails documentation helps you identify dimensions that present performance and scale risk, with clear recommendations on how to descale and improve performance. Let's take a look at some of the upcoming improvements through the eyes of Austin, an admin at the hypothetical government climate agency, NSCIA. As many of you in the audience, Austin supports thousands of employees who rely on data center products every day. Austin is aware of the growing needs of his team, and he is regularly checking on the scale trends for various data types. He's happy to see archiving assets capability in Jira Service Management. Austin is familiar with the benefits of archiving projects and issues in Jira software. So now he knows that with archiving assets, he's able to declutter his JSM instance, improve performance and searchability of assets for his JSM users. Austin is also glad to learn about OpenSearch in Confluence. He will no longer have to respond to end users complaining about performance degrading during indexing. Not only that, end users will experience faster search, huge efficiency boost for everyone. NSCIA works on global sustainability projects and collaborates with agencies across the globe. Engineers use a sizable instance of Bitbucket data center. Austin is already deploying with Bitbucket Mesh for distributed Git storage. However, because of the scale and geo-distribution of the team, resilience is a challenge. With the ability to deploy mesh nodes in multiple locations, NSCIA can now ensure high availability for their Bitbucket data center users. Let's now talk about security. I know it's a reason many of you choose data center. There is no doubt that security threats are not slowing down. Reports show significant increase in data breaches within just 1 year. And this is the trend, this is the similar trend across the globe. Both in data center and in cloud, we take a three-pronged approach to security. Firstly, we build security into our platform and products. This is our foundation. Secondly, we implement security-focused policies and practices. And lastly, we ship security features to enable admins to have control over their own security posture. In data center, when it comes to foundational security, we are fortifying our backend platform. Over this calendar year, we are going to ship platform releases across the portfolio of products. These will be the most secure releases ever and a solid foundation for the future releases of data center products. Let me spend a bit more time on this foundational investment. We all wish for a reality with no vulnerabilities, but we know it's not possible. But imagine that vulnerabilities get fixed as soon as they get discovered. And with zero downtime upgrade, you can pick up the most secure version and regain the peace of mind. This is what we aim for with the new platform releases and a clear separation between apps and core product for third-party library usage. When it comes to security practices, we've been making great investments to proactively identify and address vulnerabilities. We have enhanced our scanning processes and penetration tests. We have expanded our bug bounty program with increased payouts. And I also know many of you already use our transparency portal for vulnerabilities. All these investments have a very clear goal: to identify problems early, react swiftly, and communicate transparently. And lastly, we are building more security features in data center to give admins like yourselves more control over your security posture. Let's go back to NSCIA. As a government agency, security is top of mind for them. They are already using advanced auditing to prevent security threats and take action when these occur. But they are looking for an extra layer of protection. So Austin, the admin, implement two-step verification to ensure security against common cyber attacks. Now to log into Jira, users with privileged access will authenticate with one-time password they receive on their smartphones. With hardened foundation, secure processes, and security features in data center, Austin is empowered to apply strict security practices which his organization expects. One of the reasons for NSCIA to remain self-managed on data center is because of the legal and regulatory requirements. And it's not only about privacy and security. Austin has to ensure all products he deploys for his organizations are up to strict accessibility standards. Austin is aware that some of the employees with disabilities require their colleagues' assistance to perform their tasks. So he's happy to see continued investment in removing accessibility blockers across the portfolio of products, as well as annual release of our VPAT documentation. Austin has a lot to manage. Like so many of you in the audience who are running large instances of Atlassian toolset at large organizations, he's a true hero. But even heroes need help. Austin keeps it all secure, performant, and available for teams to get their work done. His plate is always full, so he's looking for ways to focus his work, on the most important work. Automation comes in handy. Automated archiving and REST API for content management can now help Austin free his plate of the administrative tasks and refocus his attention to more strategic initiatives. For admins like Austin and organizations like NSCIA, data center continues to meet enterprise needs. Like Disha mentioned before, everything we've learned through our data center journey, we've been using to inform our work and priorities in cloud. So now I'm going to hand it off to Ray to talk about how we've been advancing the enterprise maturity of our cloud offering. Thank you.
Thank you, Gosia. I'm Ray Wang. I'm the head of product for enterprise platform at Atlassian. Gosia took us back in time to our first major inflection point in our journey with enterprise customers, the introduction of DC in 2015. Now I'm going to take us to the next major milestone as we double down our investment in cloud. So I live in the Pacific Northwest. Some people call it the cloud capital of the world. It's also a great place for skiing. That's me at Whistler. One of the things I learned on slopes is that first you need to survey the landscape, mentally map out the path, and then you really need to commit to it. The fear of height and speed will make you want to lean back, but the only way to increase your stability is to actually lean forward, downhill, towards where you're heading. The decision to invest Atlassian's future in cloud was that moment when we started leaning downhill. Now, this conviction was informed by clear trends of technology evolution and the direction the world is heading to. We truly believe that cloud is the best option for all of our customers and enables us to provide you with the team experience of the future. Since that initial decision, additional trends have further added to this momentum. For example, as the pandemic ramped up, distributed teamwork and digital collaboration became more and more important. Cloud-based services in the workplace became the norm. And more recently, technologies such as large data analytics and AI went from being niche experiments to mainstream tools adopted by most organizations, critical for harvesting insights and driving productivity. And cloud became the default platform for these innovations due to its faster time to value, simplified operations, better end-to-end experience, and almost unlimited scale of infrastructure. We know that cloud is great for innovations, but for many of you, it also needs to live up to your requirements for enterprise-grade security, scale, compliance, and administration. And through partnering with you in your data center journey, we have gained an understanding of your priorities and use cases. And now we're taking this understanding into cloud, and we have used this knowledge to build, to make sure the Atlassian Cloud is enterprise ready across scale, security, compliance, and admin controls. Now this journey has been a multi-year investment. So next, let's walk through how Atlassian Cloud supports you in each of these areas. But first, I want to touch on an important concept as you migrate from on-prem to cloud, the shared responsibility model. When you're in cloud, Atlassian takes on a lot of the operational responsibilities. So we're focused on the services we provide and the environments they're hosted in, making sure they're secure, reliable, compliant, and so on. Meanwhile, you own the data in your accounts, the users and identity accessing those accounts, and the additional applications you use on top of the platform. So you're responsible for ensuring that your organization is using these products in a compliant way. So first, let's look at scale, performance, and reliability. Since 2018, we have averaged 111% year over year in the growth in the number of users supported on Atlassian Cloud. In the last year, Confluence grew its scale by 200%. So as a result, we now support 150K users in Confluence and 50K users per site in Jira. So in addition to making our products more scalable, we have also been making them faster and more performant with investments such as reduced time to interaction, faster issue loading time, and improved editing experience in Confluence. As a result, a lot of key experiences across Confluence and Jira have seen significant performance improvements of 25% and more. And when it comes to availability, cloud offers financially backed SLAs, disaster recovery, and business continuity programs, and extensive monitoring to ensure uptime. These are guarantees the platform provides. Now let's look at the tools to give you insights to optimize your organization's experience. We're going to meet Chloe. Chloe is an experienced org admin for Prosperify Investments, a financial services company. When it comes to their top enterprise requirements, Chloe is focused on ensuring tens of thousands of users across the entire country have reliable access to the Atlassian tools. She also cares about keeping the sensitive data within the products secure to meet the industry's compliance requirements. And Prosperify, as other companies, as you grow, you accumulate more data. And Chloe, like many admins, she's a very busy person. It's hard to find a quiet moment to sit down, read through the best practices, and figure out how to implement them. But now we have good news, because now the site optimizer brings these insights and recommendations to Chloe. For example, Chloe can see the recommended ranges of custom fields, project roles, and issues in Jira administration. In this case, she sees that the number of custom fields is approaching the maximum. To ensure that it stays within the recommended range, she goes ahead and deletes a number of the unused custom fields to bring it into a healthy state. With Site Optimizer, Chloe can now quickly and easily proactively address performance risks and ensure that her organization has good performance and usability. We know that security was really important to you in data center, and it remains a top priority in cloud, especially against the backdrop of the increased threats that Gosia talked to us about. And we take the same three-pronged approach to trust in cloud. First, we ensure that our products are secure by design, and our cloud architecture keeps tenant data isolated and inaccessible from other tenants. And secondly, we have robust practices in place to ensure we operate in a secure way and continuously maximize our security posture. These programs include zero trust security, bug bounty, external penetration testing, and more. And then finally, beyond platform security, we also provide tools to empower you to further secure your organization's data. Okay, now let's go back to Chloe's life. Chloe is laser focused on keeping their products secure, given that they operate in a regulated industry. With Atlassian administration, Chloe can proactively address security and compliance risks. So for example, she creates a product request rule, which stops users from creating new product instances without her approval, and that's an effective way to stop shadow IT. Now when a user makes a new request, for example, to create a new workspace, the request comes to Chloe. She can review it, decide whether to allow it or deny it. And Chloe also, just like in data center, right, want to make sure authentication is secure to mitigate data breach risks. So she enables two-factor authentication for not only her team, but also external collaborators. And once this rule is in place, next time the user tries to log into their cloud services, they're required to not only do the username password, but also enter an additional security code they can receive via email. And with the Security Insights dashboard, Chloe can actually oversee the team's compliance to these policies that she just put into place and act on any violations. But security doesn't just stop with the Atlassian platform. The marketplace tools are also a part of the tool set. And with the privacy and security tab in Marketplace, Chloe can now have in-depth information on the applications her organization uses, and also on the data, how the data that flows through these applications are handled. And she can exercise more control here to control what kind of data the applications access. She can set an app access rule that blocks certain content in selected Confluence spaces and Jira projects from being exported. Now, these foundational security features give Chloe the much needed control. But as Prosperify's business data becomes more and more valuable, the risks also increase. So now Chloe wants additional assurance and threat protection. And if you have been to the keynote, you have heard that she can now get these advanced assurance with Atlassian Guard. With Guard, she can proactively protect her organization's Atlassian cloud data at scale, detect suspicious activities with enhanced visibility, and respond quickly to threats before they turn into incidents. Now let's look at how these capabilities can be used in real-life situations. Exciting news. Prosperify is starting a new initiative, Project Trinity. Project Trinity is a highly confidential project to revolutionize digital banking. And as the Trinity team gets up to speed, they use Confluence to document their work and processes. And in order to protect these confidential pages, Chloe uses Guard to set data classification levels on Trinity's Confluence pages and sets a data security policy that says that anything that's classified as highly confidential is not allowed to be exported. But despite the cautiousness of the entire team, a new consultant, Robbie, accidentally clicks on phishing email and thus compromises a credential. And as a result, an external actor is able to get in, modify the classification level to public, and then with that, he is able to export these confidential pages through PDF. Okay, that's a really big problem, right? So Chloe and the IT security team immediately gets alerted by Slack. But Chloe doesn't panic, because now she has the investigation dashboard, which gives her all the information she needs to know to handle this incident. It shows her the pages exported, classification level changed, and also a suspicious login for an external IP. So Chloe immediately suspends Robbie's account, neutralizing the threats within minutes of the initial alert. Additionally, as an enterprise organization, Prosperify already has an existing portfolio of security tools they use, such as identity providers, SIEMs, and threat detection providers. Now, the good news is that Chloe can integrate with all these tools and seamlessly connect to Atlassian Guard to provide a centralized view of all the potential risks across the organization. And one of the reasons Chloe needs to hold a very high security bar for Prosperify's data is to meet the industry's compliance requirements. And that need isn't unique. We know many of you operate in a highly regulated industry or region. That's why we've been continually evolving to meet your compliance needs. And similar to the model for security, we invest in both ensuring our products are compliant by design and also giving you more control so we can implement and test to your own specific compliance requirements. Atlassian Cloud has been certified for many of the major regulations in the world, including HIPAA, GDPR, and BaFin. And now, IRAP and CFI are also on the horizon, and we're actively working towards in-process designation for FedRAMP. And we also offer you additional platform tools so that you can specify your own data privacy levels that your organization needs. So for example, data residency in the last year has expanded its coverage to include 7 new regions, as well as coverage for Forge-based apps. BYOK, many of you have asked for, bringing your own key encryption, gives you greater control in the management of keys and allows you to revoke access at any time, not only for your own users, but even for Atlassian system accounts. Okay, you might have noticed that many of these improvements across scale, security, and compliance are centered around empowering admins, the heroes of the Atlassian toolset. We want to offer the admins an experience with greater visibility through security and performance insights, increased control through features like data export, external user security, data residency, and BYOK, and better usability through a centralized mission control that gives you a single pane of glass to manage across all Atlassian products. And recent additions, such as admin search and product notification, have further enhanced this experience. Through these investments, over the last few years, we have built an enterprise-grade platform in cloud. And as a result, even some of our most security-conscious customers have been able to onboard cloud. Software AG used to use a mix of on-prem tools for project management, collaboration, and service management. They needed to make sure that Atlassian Cloud can meet the stringent EU regulation requirements because they're a German-based customer. So their research showed that Atlassian Cloud not only met their data residency security requirements, but also offers flexibility and an extensive collection of marketplace apps to fuel their productivity. They were eager to deploy a multi-instance solution in cloud for data segregation for different security reasons and multiple use cases. And ultimately, by offloading maintenance to a central cloud-based platform, the Software AG team was able to get back time and resource and energy to focus on their company's core business values. Atlassian Cloud allows you to offload much of the operational toil to us and to focus your company's energy on your core business. It also helps you to take advantage of many of the innovations that Disha talked about earlier on. But in order to reap all of these benefits, first you have to migrate to cloud. I want to see a show of hands. How many of you have started or completed a migration? Thank you. And from your experience, both this time and your past lives, you know that the migrations of large production systems are never simple. They're architectural, technical, and operational challenges. And over the last few years, we have partnered with you to make this process smoother. Let's walk through the end-to-end migration experience from pre-migration planning to the moving of your data to post-migration successes. A successful migration starts with proactive assessment and planning. Migration is not just about lift and shift, but it's also an opportunity for you to modernize your practices and design for the future. And to simplify this process, we have created a couple of tools. Automated assessments allow you to survey your current on-prem footprint and identify any gaps that need to be addressed before the migration can begin. Cloud blueprints help you to identify your goal, create a migration strategy, and visualize your plan and journey. Now, during migration, one of the key steps is the moving of your data, which is the core asset to your business. Over the last 18 months, we have significantly improved the data migration process, achieving 95% planned success rate across Jira and Confluence. And then once your data has been moved, you're ready to go, and you want to make sure your organization is set up for success in cloud. And to help with that, we have created a cloud adoption toolkit that gives you runbooks and templates to help your team quickly get to productivity in the cloud environment. If you need more support, we also have our customer success managers that can work with you to provide personalized adoption recommendations. These tools and support have enabled many of our largest customers to make the successful migration from on-prem to cloud. Mercedes, for example, decided to migrate to cloud after being a long-time data center customer. With 30,000 users across Jira and Confluence, that's no small feat. But with both strategic and operational help from Atlassian, they were able to resolve issues and make progress quickly, and said that the end-to-end experience for them was as smooth as possible. Migration is a journey, transformation is a journey, and we're here to partner with you in whatever form it might take. Our ultimate goal is to ensure that you can make the most out of the Atlassian tool set and enable your organizations. Thank you.